Okay, so we're picking up from where we left off last. Here's the bear. It basically roughed out. If I was looking at this, what would I say? I would say I think that we're gonna bring the resolution up, legs, arms, and like a little bit of reworking in the face because I could use a little restructuring. So let's give it a go. Alright, I'm looking here. As I said before, we're always trying to knock out the flat edges. If I'm looking at this, it's not exactly flat, but it's not exactly round either. This is the part that is possibly bugging me the most. So let's do it. Right click, vertex, W on the keyboard. Give it like that little bit of roundness that we're seeing in the images. Come around here. We could maybe pump that out just a little bit like this. Something more that looks like a shoulder. And maybe just a little something. Right. I'm going to go with like that right there. Next thing I'm going to do is we really want to kind of get more of the form out of this arm. So my plan to do it, you just want to go in with a game plan, would be to, I'm just going to even these out a little bit like that, not too bad. And then possibly this could be re-looped around the back. Come up the game plan. So just a little bit there, a little bit there, something like that, something there. Alright, I'm going to go into Insert Edge Loop Tool. I'm going to drop one right here, like this. And this will let me sort of crimp it just a little bit so I can get more of a rounded form on the shoulder. I'm going to go Move Tool, right click, Vertex, and let's go kind of maybe just kind of evening it out. I'm looking from both sides. It looks like this one's lower, this one's higher, so I'm going to go up with it just a little bit, kind of keep it somewhat uniform. Then you can grab this second loop right here, and then carefully, what I'm going to do is, as a kind of a sweeping selection, I pull, I'm just checking to see if anything in the body's coming out with it. I don't see it. It looks like it's a clean selection. Do that. I'm going to go R on the keyboard, crimp it just a little bit, W on the keyboard. I'm going to go from the center. This is a riskier move to do this. So I'm just kind of carefully pulling up, and I'm looking at this center line right here, and I'm trying to keep it basically straight as I go. The thing is, I can be really screwing it up from another angle, but it doesn't look like I did too badly. Let's grab these right here. I don't know, I missed that one. There these ones are. And I'm going to do this just a little down. It does look like it's just like a little suggestion of a shoulder. Something like that. R on the keyboard, I think I went too far. Just a little bit back out. W on the keyboard, let's pull it back across again, something like this. And maybe like right across here. Get the whole thing. R on the keyboard, we could kind of bring it in a little bit. You can note, if I'm looking at this, I just want to make sure that the tool is in alignment with the actual object. So I'm looking at it from over here. I'm looking at him there. It feels sort of okay. I'll grab this one here, W on the keyboard. We can kind of maybe nudge this back in a little bit. The arms are getting a little slender. We're starting to get into an area where I feel that it's close. There's the arm from the back side. I'm looking at it here, and I'm going to go maybe out just a little bit like this. This one possibly in just a little bit like this. This one's sort of becoming a spike. If I look at it, it's kind of almost hitting a 90-degree angle, and it should be more of a softer, rounded sort of form. So I'm going to start to kind of turn this into more of a C shape rather than an L, a hard 90 degrees. The next I look at is this line right here. This one's, come on, Control Z. I'm going to go across here like this, take all those. I'm hitting the wrong hotkey right now, so I go Control Z, come on. This looks pretty good. I'm just checking for things that are not supposed to be selected, and they're not there, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to nudge it in like this a little bit, and this rounds it. I get a more of a rounded shape here rather than that hard edge. I think this feels better. Concerns would be probably this one right here. Alright, so I'm looking at this, and we can see that we've got a triangle right here, and it's starting to form that long, like ice pick-like form that I hate. So what we're going to do is I'm going to transition it into the body. So I'll use the multi-cut tool, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I go enter. I go right click. I go edge. And I end up with something like this. And I want to even these out a little bit. So right click, vertex. I can take this loop right there. And W on the keyboard. You can kind of pull this up just a little bit like that. And the reason we're doing this is to keep it in quads. Control click the central one. I move around and I do have something selected on the front. Something is selected that's not supposed to be selected, and I just don't see it. Number 4 on the keyboard. It's an internal verb, so this one doesn't really matter too much. So I'm just going to go control click. We're going to delete these faces anyway. 5 on the keyboard. So these look like they've been evened out just a little bit more. Something like this looks better. The next one we are going to have to do, this is starting to get a little more dense at this point. I always say keep it light. We've gone a little ways with this. Control click across the back. Maybe something like this, and then this, like that. So next to kind of worry about would be rounding this sucker out. I'm just again keep looking for the game plan. Ideally, what would be good, so I'm looking at this loop right here, and if I could rework this to come across here and then work its way down and across, that would be nice. That's probably not going to happen. So enough procrastinating. I know it has to be done. Let's do it. So I'm going to use Insert Edge tool. I'm going to go here, one across, and it does what I think it will. This will give me the toe, and it'll give me roundness across this leg structure. It'll give me a little bit more than what we've had. So let's see if we can make it work. So I go right click, vertex, and let's start with the toe. I've been waiting for this for a while. Right click, you just saw it failed. W on the keyboard to change the tools to move. And I'm just going to, let's see how I'm doing it. I'm centering so I make this plane look flat from this angle here. I zoom in a little bit like this. Something like that looks pretty good. And I can grab this central handle and just give it a tug out. You gotta be really careful, and this is maybe for slightly more experience, that I'm not setting it off axis. That doesn't look too bad. Something like that. And then the back of his heel has a bit of roundness to it as well. So let's go there. You get all of those. A giant control click across the front. I wasn't holding control, which is really annoying. Right click vertex. We can see that, look, the ground plane is selected, which is also annoying. What I'm going to do is select the ground plane, and then I come over here, I channels layers in the top corner, I click on the add button, and I can turn it off, but I can also lock it up. So now that when I select, I can't do anything to it. So I've locked up the ground plane. So from here, right click vertex down the middle. Something like that. You could try to possibly tighten up the heel. So I'm going to go shift click here. I look at the selection, it looks like it's good. I'm going to go R on the keyboard. Let's see, bring it down just a little bit like that, giving us some more of that roundedness. That feels okay. I'm going to, again, the whole thing has this kind of rounded feeling to it. So W on the keyboard, I could pull this up. That gives just like a little bit of an arc here. But you can see that it's definitely favoring the bottom side. So these are kind of risky moves that I'm making right now. And I want to pull out too. So to kind of, this is going to be the knee. So that could go out there a little bit like that. Now you have to keep moving around it. It's not going to work if I don't constantly move around it. I'm just going to, that looks better. And let's give it just like a little bit of mass right here. So this one should not be selected. And I'll give it just like a little bit of roundness in there. Something like that. I can go with this one, shift click, this one. We'll probably go 1, 2. And we could adjust the foot so it's really on the ground a little bit more too. But there we are, we're getting some more roundness in here. Feels better. A little bit of roundness there. I'm gonna actually, instead of R-ing, I'm gonna make it transparent so we can see through it. It looks better. Okay, so now look at this mess right here. It just doesn't look very good. Okay, so I'm going to try to select it as a row, so I'm just getting a better angle on this. Sweeping selection across. And just trying to get a little more roundness in there. That's better. This is a mess. So this one, I'm actually going to, we have to kind of, it's like the tweening. You want to basically adjust the transition between one form into the other form. Go like this. This. I'm looking at the back. I'm looking at the curvature as I go across here. It looks like a flat or even a concave form. Giant control click. This is so freaking annoying. I keep hitting shift instead of control. It's just the layout on this keyboard. And you can see that I've moved off center right here. So I'll just grab that one. I'm going to hold X to grid snap and move it back to the origin. Looks slightly better. And then let's work these edges a little bit. If I want the roundness, real roundness in the arms, I need a loop going across this way. So I'm going to go insert edge loop tool. It's just making, just be really careful how we drop these things because it's adding lots of work. I hit enter, right click, vertex, W. And then what I could do is I would actually probably start with the exterior loops like this. 1, 2, 3. get into a pose like this, R on the keyboard, and tuck it in. So what I'm looking at, I wanted to get, we're at a box. I want to get it even past the box into something which is becoming just slightly more round, like that. Control click, maybe W. Let's just see what it looks like, just the tiniest bit out. So then now we can grab this one and we can actually push this back just a little bit. We actually build out full-blown hands in a sec. So what I could do would be, I could drop a loop across here and we could pull a thumb out of there. Now we can start to kind of work our ways in a little bit. Really careful in that section because there was something right behind it. Something like that. What I could do is I could take this loop right here, which is kind of holding it down. We could move it closer to the actual main core body, so that there's just a little bit of a softer transition between the actual body and the bear. It's looking better, and in an effort to get him above ground, I could grab a bunch of this stuff, control click, press a bunch of this stuff, and just kind of pull up on it like this, almost above ground. We come back into this nasty transition right here. I'm going to actually kind of pull this up to soften that out. This is like, yeah, just like a little bit messy to kind of deal with. Let's put the other one down there. Okay, I'd say at this point we've basically increased the res on the legs and the bear. Let's see, basically looks like this. Not too bad. The next major place that I would go after on this guy would be the face. I'd re-loop the face. So if I was doing that, this would be called sort of bulldozing at this point. And what we would be doing is ripping and tearing. So let's do it. Right click, edge. I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to go multi-cut. I'm going to go from here here to here. I'm not going to go too much further than that. Then we'll go from here to here. Next, let's go like this. I'm gonna go from, so like again, I dislike these ice picks. This is actually a quad. This is like a four-sided polygon. That's not gonna work out real well, so let's reloop it. Oh, come on. I hit enter. Then let's go here, here. Right click edge, W, grab this one, delete. Something like this. So I start studying and I'm thinking that we could start pulling loops going out this way. I'm thinking, that's a pretty hard pull. It'd be better if it came from the center of the eye. I'm just like studying. So like when I look at it right here, this is where you've got the, right in that corner right there, you're getting a hard sort of pull. So I'm going to go right click, vertex, grab those right there. So that looks good. I want nice straight lines. Like when I look at this, it comes down, and it goes kink, and it goes down this way. Let's just straighten it out a little bit. Better than it did. And I'm thinking you almost need a loop going up and across that way. This is like the ice pick right here. And with this extra geometry, we can work to save his butt. So what I'll do is I'll go select, and I'll go X snap. So it's on the grid. X snap. Just to straighten stuff out a little bit. Let's see what it's looking like. Yeah, something like that. Then I'll go in here. I'll use this to create the curve kind of into the butt. Something like that. Then I want to even everything out, so just a giant control click across. So I just like evaluating it, and I'm looking at it, and I see one large flat plane here, and then another plane here, and the spike is right there. I want to even that spike out just a little bit. Giant sweeping selection up the middle. Control click. control put. And just like that. Better than it was. I'm looking at the bridge of his nose. So I would want to basically, if I'm trying to kind of, so the eyes, the nose, I'm coming across here. And the trick is, I just like to keep moving around the model. I like to kind of keep moving around the model. So maybe up to about here. We're getting that spike under the eye. It would mean we need another loop to go down. But we could also have another loop coming up across the top of the head. This is going to start to get dense if this is what we're doing. So another loop is going to come down across here, and I can get that sort of rounded form going in that direction. The other would be like more of the smile like. The smile like form. Oh. I think I'm going to take a break for a little bit. So this is where it is.